Good morning, everybody. It's your boy Kitario, and I'm back again for another episode of Christ and Comic Books. And today we're going to be getting into Shonen Jump once again. We're going to be talking about two of the newer series that are coming out in Shonen Jump. One of them being Phantom Seer, and the other one being Ghost Reaper Girl. But before we get into any of that, let's remind the people what this channel is about. The purpose of this channel is to look into different types of comic books, anime series, TV shows, even movies, to identify that there is some remnant of Christ in those series. Not everything that you watch is simply evil because of the first thing that you see. Don't take it at face value. There's something deeper to be received and seen in some series. But there are indeed other series which you should just stay away from. But the purpose of this channel is to look deeper into certain type of manga, into comic books, their heroes, their villains, into different types of movies. And that's what we're looking at today with the Shonen Jump series. Would they be worth collecting? Would they be worth reading? Would they be worth spending the time to get caught up in? And what are the risks if you do? So let's talk about it. So the first series that I want to talk about today, again, is Phantom Seer. The story was written by Togo Goto, while the art was done by Kento Matsura. This series is focused on shamans dealing with phantoms. And if you know anything about shamans, one of the main things to point out about them, especially if you watch Shaman King, they're able to speak to ghosts or spirits that are still around, haunting certain places or haunting people, and in some sense they're either able to harness their power or they are brought forth to deal with and get rid of those spirits as they are tormenting or plaguing somebody. And that's somewhat of the premise of this series of Phantom Seer. This story starts out with Riku Aibetsu, who is a young girl going to school, and one of the things she identifies is, my dad works for the police, my mother is a nurse, so I've been brought up wanting to help people. So it's in her nature to want to be helpful. One of the things that's pointed out is, because she ends up sensing danger, she saves people in very, similar situations such as that. Like it already portrays that some glass is about to break, and she pulls one of her friends out of the way, and they're so grateful. So all across the school, she is known for doing these types of things. But on this particular day, she is called on by Iori Katanagi. Now, Iori Katanagi pulls her into a separate room covered in talismans. They don't quite explain the talismans, but there's talismans in this room. But he pulls her into this room. This character, being almost totally opposite her, he's extremely quiet. He goes around school without even being seen, but he giving her this attention really kind of caught the school off guard. But he pulls her into this separate classroom. He goes to have a conversation, and in having this conversation, he identifies for her that there is something actually haunting her, where you can only see a partial face of this thing. What's revealed also is that Iori isn't the one looking to bring about this assistance, because you would otherwise hear about him doing this regularly throughout the school. This is his sister, his older sister, calling on him to have this conversation with her and to address whatever it is that's going on with her. So they speak to, of course, what she's able to do as of currently being identified as her being able to sense danger. And so with them seeing that there is a phantom that is haunting her, they want to deal with this phantom. They identify that the phantom that she's been seeing was one that she actually caught a glimpse of on a train. And so with that being said, this leads to Riku being brought into this world of phantoms and shamans and those types of things. So what they point out for her is that there's something special about her. They just can't currently identify what that special thing is. So long story short, with Iori not wanting to assist, he wants to send her to go and deal with her own problem. Well, go back to the train, you deal with it. But his sister threatens him, and then his sister threatening him is a part of the comedy of the series, with him not being willing to, help anyone or put himself out there like that. She basically threatens to hurt him, and so because she is supposedly stronger than he is, he finally concedes, and he goes with her to the train. They go to the train, and in the getting on the train, they're immediately transported to like another realm on the train, which is done by the power of the phantom that is on the train at this time. What ends up happening in this moment as well is, what comes to revelation is that Riku actually attracts these creatures. And what makes this scarier for Riku is that the big sister identifies that it's not that you're sensing danger, it's that you're drawing the danger. So because there were multiple phantoms surrounding this train, not just the one that is the biggest one to be pointed out, which they also identify to be what's called an okubi. So, with her realizing this, she is almost in a sense traumatized to think that she's the one causing the problem, not the one removing the problem. Whereas, as we get that reflection there, that Iori is the one that actually deals with the problem, but in some weird way, he doesn't want to be the one to deal with people's problems. So they give this two sides of the coin kind of experience between these two characters, which is very helpful because I guess you could say they would complete each other in a weird sense. But this goes forward to lead into the okubi going to do an attack. In the okubi attacking, she pushes Iori out of the way, putting herself on the line, and then she gets taken by the okubi. Okay, so continuing on, this leads to Iori now all of a sudden being motivated. They don't clarify that just immediately. This is just chapter 1, but what they identify is he goes into to help her now. And so this leads to him taking action, what his powers are, which seems to be held by a key that he keeps on his wrist, which is attached, of course, to a ring. So in him using the power that he has, which is over shadows, he then heals a wound that he got from protecting Riku. And along with that, he summons one of the phantoms that he is in, I guess you could say, a contract with, a deal with, or he has control over. However you may look at that, I would say it is a contract based off of how he describes how their relationship works. So he goes to summon his, and his is Ongyoki, which kind of looks like an old school samurai. He's wearing like the ogre mask look and things like that, but it's completely shadowed out. But this thing is summoned out of the shadows, and it comes through a door. It's very giant also, and it's interesting because with them being in this separate realm, whatever he does in this realm won't affect reality, I suppose. I think that's kind of what's also happening here, because look, we got a door being summoned on a train. Nobody seeing that? They're in a different realm, keep that in mind. So with this thing coming out, it takes out the okubi and draws it in. One of the things that Iori clarifies is that in this deal that he has with the Ongoki, that means that if he ever summons him, he has to have something for him to kill or he'll kill him. And of course, that would be the end of the contract. The Ongyoki would be able to go out of control, etc., etc. But he was able to take out the okubi. Riku has been saved, and this, of course, leading to her seeing, oh, he's actually is willing to help people under certain circumstances, but she wants to understand what led up to it. Same with everybody else. We want to understand, what makes him want to help with people when he does actually end up helping people. So this leads us into, of course, chapter 2. Chapter 2 goes into, now, like, they have this friendship. Riku and Iori kind of have, like, this relationship now. She's like, hey, let's help people, let's help people, let's help people, is her mindset. One of their people in their school comes to him seeking that help. One sidebar to make mention of, as Riku has been going by the classroom trying to find Iori, she hasn't seen him. And then she finally, as she walks by once more, I think it's around the end of the day, she does see him. He's like, have you been here this whole time? He's like, yeah, I've been here this whole time. And now she's confused why she hasn't seen him. That points out that that's another level of his power. With him being able to control shadows, he can somewhat make himself invisible to the naked eye. So they are, as they're meeting in this moment, met by a classmate who says that she's hearing something call on her to come to a certain classroom. She hasn't fully committed to that movement, but she keeps hearing it call on her. She feels herself being drawn to it. She doesn't know what to do. So both Riku and Iori leave with her, and in them leaving with her, she gets called on again, but they lose track of her because of the pull was so strong and they weren't aware of it. So she ends up getting pulled into this classroom. Turns out, yep, there's a phantom there. This phantom looks kind of like an octopus-like phantom, but he has the room so controlled that if you go in there incorrectly, you could get taken. Riku, in her mindset, like, I gotta save him, she's looking to jump into the fire. While Iori's like, no, stay out of the way, we gotta play smart, we don't want to get caught. So he uses his shadow abilities to go into the room to save this girl. He gets her out, they end up getting attacked, and this also shows the level of control that he has over the Ongyoki, that he only summoned the arm, and they take out, of course, this octopus creature. One of the things that is pointed out, because the sister gets on the phone speaking with Riku and points out to Riku, look, Iori is stronger than you even believe he is, even though he acts like a coward, even though he acts like he doesn't want to help anyone. He's stronger than he comes across. What this ends up building upon is that this kind of identifies as well that he doesn't want anyone to sacrifice themselves for him. Reason being is because he had a prior experience where someone had sacrificed himself for him and he wasn't able to do anything. That's what turns him off to helping people. And I guess is that I don't want to be the one that can't help people when I do help people, because I've already done that before. But because in several instances we're seeing that Riku's willing to put herself on the line to save somebody else, he doesn't want to see someone else become that sacrifice, so then he'll step in. I think that's kind of annoying, like that really brings down his character value at this point, but it does help you look forward to character development. What this leads into is revealing that yes, Riku wants to partner with him to help people, but the thing about Iori is, Iori wants to just be a normal person. He wants to be a normal human being. He doesn't want anything to do with phantoms in this world, and we can really just liken that to the trauma that he has already experienced. Now, with this next chapter, Iori and Riku's relationship is heavily challenged because Iori starts this chapter out by saying, "Hey, Riku, I need your help. Will you please help me? You're the one that I need in this moment," basically demonstrating this one desire for help, two, this need for someone else to help him. So that mindset right there really just kind of triggers Riku in an emotional way, like, yay, this is like she feels that character progress, or like she's making a difference in his life. So what ends up happening is another character is introduced in this moment, which is a character that does the research for them as the shaman, while of course the shaman go in and they do the exercising of whatever is haunting a house, whatever is plaguing somebody. Like I said, this is a very ghost aspect of the series, so that's something very important to keep in mind, that it's very similar to Ghost. They're just giving it a different name by calling it Phantom versus it saying Ghost, because a lot of series already say, hey, we're dealing with ghosts. Supernatural. You got Shaman King, you got Yu Yu Hakusho. There's too many series already talking about ghosts. You got Bleach, ghosts, right? There's ghosts everywhere in anime, so now there's a lot of different series that are trying to give them different names for what they are contending with. But we have this new character, as well as we have Riku. What they've identified is that there's this girl in this house, and people are seeing this girl and they don't know what's happening because they hear voices coming from the home, and no one knows if someone's trapped there, no one knows if it's just the ghost itself, so they're going to go check it out. And so Riku's coming thinking that she's coming to help Iori because Iori needs the help and wants to help people. So they're going into the house, and as they're going into the house and they're looking around, they're doing the research and things like that, the researcher reveals, the underlying intent that Iori actually has, which is he's trying to find a certain girl that will be able to take away his power, making him normal. There's supposedly a phantom out there that can do that, and that's what he's looking for. And so in this moment as well, you kind of see Iori pushing Riku to the front lines of everything, like, hey, you go in first, or hey, you go up there, you check that out. And she's like, wait, what? You're the one with the power, why aren't you trying to go and do this thing? And really what they're using her to do is to draw out the creature that's in the home, so that they're using her ability to draw phantoms to draw this thing out. So he's really just using her, and for no other reason than that. And that kind of hurt her feelings because she didn't know that that's what he was really looking for, Phantom to take away his abilities, otherwise making him no longer responsible for saving people. So that kind of hurt her a lot to see that she was used in that way and that she was lied to. But they end up, of course, getting in. They end up finding out that there is a tree phantom that is a part of the home, and they're having to take this thing out. Now, in order to take this thing out, yep, we go the same route of Iori summoning the Yongyoki, and the Yongyoki fighting it off. Now, one thing that's special about the Yongyoki, anything that the Yongyoki kills, the Yongyoki can harness its power, or its very essence in and of itself. They summon the Okubi, which they killed on the train, to come and actually take out this tree. And it takes it out in one bite. This Okubi is just a head with hair. It uses the hairs as tentacles, and of course takes the tree out in one bite. So we see that there's another level of power to the Yongyoki, which a part of probably speaks to the lack of being able to control him easily. And that gives more respect to Iori when we're talking power level. But again, they were easily able to take this thing out, but again, this is a part of something that causes that rift between the two of them. We do say that opposites attract, but in some sense, being too different can lead to people separating. And if he's going to continue to operate in the way that he is, being that she's someone that believes that if you're able to help people, please make a difference. And even if you aren't, it's worthwhile to put yourself on the line. She values that kind of view of a person, and seeing that being different of Iori kind of bums her out, but she does know that when it worst comes to worst, he will do what he has to do, but that does cause a rift in their relationship. Now, if I'm talking about the series in and of itself, I would say that this is a pretty decent, part-time read. This isn't something that I would highly push towards people to get caught up in, to get into. When you're talking about, what it takes to be a help to people, taking responsibility for what you're capable of doing and then going to do that, I think that's a powerful message in and of itself. Would I highly recommend this to just anybody to read? No, I wouldn't put that on the front lines as a read. My review would probably get it a 2-star out of 5. Or 2.5 stars out of 5 when we're talking about a good Shonen Jump manga and where it would place in accordance with everything else that's out there. I wouldn't give it that much respect. But that is Phantom Seer. I hope you guys like this review. If you have any questions or if you want to know more about this series, I highly suggest that you sign up for the Shonen Jump mobile app. That's where I, of course, keep updated. It's only like $1.99 per month to be able to read all of the manga and the new chapters, the old chapters, the new series all coming out. So make sure that you sign up for Shonen Jump mobile app, as well as you can check again in the description where you can have a link for some of the series mentioned here that already have a book out. Thank you guys for joining me. Y'all have yourself a blessed one.